Hey everyone, it's Zach back with a new mortgage video. Hope you're all having a happy Friday. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back, where I'll try to demystify all things mortgage related. If you find this content helpful, please like and subscribe. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that has been kind of in the news since the election of Donald Trump. However, starting to gain some real momentum, and I think it's worth breaking down. And that is the idea of moving Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac from a conservatorship, where they're essentially government run, to back to being public companies. I want to talk about the arguments for and against this and kind of which way I lean personally. So, brief history lesson. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have always essentially made it easier for lenders to lend money. They have provided clear-cut guidelines, and if lenders originate loans that meet those guidelines, they will take those loans, buy them, and allow those lenders to keep on making money. Since 2008, after the financial crisis, the government took conservatorship of both companies. And since that time, there's been talk of removing that status and making them public companies again. So a lot of that debate comes down to how you feel about the free market. If you feel that government inevitably is going to make any kind of business worse and the free market is the way, you're probably for removing the conservatorship. If you don't feel that way, then maybe you're not. But a couple things specifically this week that came up, which made this debate even more interesting. Donald Trump posted that he would still have these companies backed by the government, even as they're public companies. So essentially what that means is if these companies, in an aim to be more profitable, start offering riskier products again, like what happened leading up to 2008, and there's another mortgage meltdown where a lot of these loans go into default, that's essentially backed up by the government, and essentially you as the taxpayer are footing the bill for that. The other big thing is, no matter what, even if this does go really well, it's almost certainly going to make these loans more expensive. These are all conventional loans, are Fannie or Freddie loans. So both primary residence, pretty much any standard second home loans, any investment loans for residential purchases, all of those loans would go up because as a public company, the goal is to make money, to return value to shareholders. So the pros for this is, again, mostly free market type of arguments that investors will make the processes more efficient and profitable by not being fully immersed with the government. That could cut down on government waste, government spending, and ideally creates more jobs and more growth. However, the cons are it almost certainly will drive up rates for those types of loans. For conventional loans, it also could lead to more risky type of loans. Right now, this is an argument I've seen other people make where they're saying, well, maybe by being a public company, a for-profit company, they're going to come up with more creative type of financing, more outside the box type of loans, which right now they're kind of stagnant. It's been the same type of products since 2008. I don't really see that as a big need right now. I think the non-QM space pretty well covers the spectrum of potential loans out there. But that is an argument I've seen made. And then, like I said before, the potential of if things go badly and a lot of these loans default, that's on the taxpayers essentially, because there is still that implicit government backing, even though it is a publicly traded company. So all in all, I'm not a big fan of this idea, especially right now. Mortgage rates are currently restrictive for home buyers. There's no question about that. And anything that is likely to increase mortgage rates is, I think, not what we need to be doing right now. And granted, this would not prevent people from getting FHA loans, VA loans, USDA loans, and it wouldn't affect the pricing for that. But conventional loans are still the vast majority of all residential loans out there. So it would have a notable impact. Again, this week, Trump announced some of terms that he was thinking of. Necessarily mean that's how it's going to play out. So the devil's in the details kind of thing. But as a general idea, and especially with the plan that Trump outlined this week, I'm not a big fan of this at the present moment. But if you have any questions or comments, shoot them below, or feel free to call, text, or email me. But thanks for tuning in to this one. Hope you have a happy weekend, and I will see you next time.